was a typo, and I'm like, welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm Jared. I'm here with Robert. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up?
And today we are discussing the Golden Guardian of Good, the Sentry.
Or the Void.
And the Void, who has one of the most unbelievable meta stories ever. Robert, do you want to start us off with that?
So Stan Lee created the character a long time ago. But then left it in a drawer for ages until Paul Jenkins and those at Marvel found it, dusted off, and decided, hey, let's bring him in. And no, okay, that's not what actually happened. That was a Wizard story, something that Wizard did. They did tell Stan, and Stan was like, go ahead, that sounds like something I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But when in actuality, they decided just, let's create that. I don't know if Paul Jenkins intentionally took this from the Triumph character from DC that DC had done, but there is too much similarities between this whole idea of a hero who was the prominent hero. Everyone loved him. In the case of Triumph, was the leader of the Justice League, and then something wiped him from continuity, and we're only just finding out about it now.
That's what happened to Triumph? Wow.
Yeah, Triumph. That was Triumph's big tragedy. He was forgotten. Because, yeah, he was the leader of the Justice League. Superman looked up to him, and then he was wiped from continuity.
Wow.
Until Zero Hour brought him back.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I see Triumph.
Yeah. And then Grant Morrison made him snap and go villainous, turned the ice, planned on reverting it, and then blew up the watchtower before restoring him, and then realized, oh, whoops, guess he's dead.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and what's up, Cameron? So the thing about the Sentry. So, and by the way, yes, I have the omnibus, the David Finch cover.
I need to get that when I get money.
It's really, they had the other cover, which is more of like the classic look, but it's like it's David.
No, I want this one. I want that one.
This one's.
Oh, we should mention we have a moratorium. You're altering the moratorium.
Right. So here's what we're gonna do. So, as you guys know, we call BMB, He Must Not Be Named. We're going to change that permanently going forward, only when we're talking about his DC work, because his DC work was horrible. His Marvel work was absolutely fantastic to a point.
80% fantastic.
Because there's more good with Marvel, bend the whole moratorium on saying...
He Must Not Be Named seems disingenuous when talking about his Marvel work.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul Jenkins, this whole notion was the Sentry was a hero everyone loved, everyone was buddies with. The Hulk, he was one of the few people that the Hulk could calm down. Apparently, he was the first person Rogue slept with.
Okay.
That we didn't find that out until he died, but apparently something about his powers she couldn't absorb.
That's interesting.
That is one of the dumbest things done.
Yeah, I'm like, why?
I wish I was making that up, dude. I wish I was making it up.
Yeah, exactly. But so the thing about the Sentry is the unique thing about him is that he is Marvel's Superman. Let's face it. But the difference is his arch enemy is called the Void, and what had happened was. The way the series was done, the original miniseries is the Void's returning, and like no one remembers the Sentry or the Void. It turns out Robert Reynolds, the Sentry, has like schizophrenia, and the Sentry is also him.
The Void he's also the Void. Yes, at least originally.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, originally that was the plan. It got retconned by Bendis and the New Avengers. I'm getting used to saying that now. Wow. But so the original miniseries is he wakes up and all of a sudden he remembers he was the Sentry, and then he's trying to like make people remember who he was. Now what you discover is the Sentry is such a threat in the Void that Reed and like essentially the Illuminati.
Yep, before the Illuminati existed.
But essentially them wiped everyone's memory of the Sentry.
Including from himself, I think, originally.
Yeah, it was including from himself. And then eventually now the reason why they can change a lot of stuff is because Sentry was brought on as part of the Marvel Knights initiative, which really helped revitalize Marvel. And
I don't think that many was meant to be canon.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to ask, because there's like a
no, it was not. It was never meant
right?
to be. It was never meant to be canon. And if even by the end, the genie was put back in the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when Bendis took over New Avengers, I want to say this again to give him his credit. So, you guys have to understand with the state the Avengers franchise was in when Bendis came on, because it was a mess.
You know, granted, beforehand you had Busick and Perez, but even that, while a good seller, never broke mainstream. Comic fans loved it, but then it never broke mainstream. Jeff Johns, one of his early comic work, took over, and then Chuck Austin took over. Chuck Austin, the guy who thought like, hey, like, let's try to make Nightcrawler the Pope. Oh, and let's reveal his dad was a demon.
Yeah, exactly. So now Bendis came on and goes, why aren't your popular characters on the Avengers? Because remember, by the time Bendis was the Avengers writer, the Marvel movies weren't a thing, so no one really knew who Cap and Iron Man were.
Now, just to quote Kim Possible, it's traditional. Well, it's dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much what was said.
He goes, where's Wolverine and Spider-Man on there? And then Marvel hilariously was like, well, Spider-Man is a loner. And he goes, he headlined Marvel Team Up.
Now, Wolverine, they had a bit more of a case on.
Yeah, and even with Wolverine, it took them a second to, it took him a couple.
Because is he really Avengers material? Is he really Avengers material? Ugh.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Spidey, yes. Wolverine, that was the first time Wolverine was put on. They were putting on a member purely for popularity, which they never did until that point.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where you get Avengers disassembled from, and that's when like Wanda went crazy.
Oh God, and that's strike one against them.
No, Robert, remember, there's no such thing as chaos magic.
The regard, dude, that's not pissing me off as much as how that's forever tainted Wanda.
So here's the problem with Bendis's writing, and it's I'm bringing it up now. The thing about Bendis is that when he writes a series, if the pre-established lore of the book contradicts what he wants to say, he will ignore and like completely like on a whim change it.
Exactly. And whereas like someone like Jeff John, for example, would actually be like, I'll work with it. Mm-hmm. He'll still try and go take it his own direction.
Yeah, exactly. But so the thing about it is, so that's where you got that. So then I think is the first full arc of New Avengers is
the breakout.
Yeah, so we have the breakout where there was like a prison. It was the raft, if I remember correctly.
Yep. There was a blackout that led to a big attack and everything, and you had some people who were already visiting there when it happened, and then Carnage gets out, is ready to eviscerate Foggy Nelson, and the Sentry just walks up, grabs him, takes him into space, and rips him in half. And for a while, people thought that was just the suit, not Cletus. No, that was Cletus too.
Yeah, exactly. So then you get to the.
But I'm saying that was his return. I just said that was his big return.
Sorry. So then you get to, like, in the prison, there's a man named Robert Reynolds who is in there who turned himself in because he said, I killed my wife.
Kind of complicated.
It's very complicated, yeah. So and when the Avengers find him, he's hiding in a cave, and he goes, he's coming. The Void is coming and stuff. So then the Avengers bring his wife with him, and they're like, you didn't kill your wife. She's right here. And then Iron Man brings out Paul Jenkins, who is a comic book writer.
Well, remember, in universe, Marvel Comics exist, and they write the stories.
And by the way, they are legally admissible in court.
Yep.
And
thank you, Dan Slott.
Yeah, exactly. And then he like teleports away, and then he's watching TV, and then Emma Frost pops on the screen and says, "Okay, hey Bob, can you come outside right now? We just want to talk." And there's like the entire Marvel universe is out there waiting for him.
Now this, unlike Civil War II, where doing that to the Hulk was a bad idea.
Yeah, this
Doing
one
it here made more sense because he needed to see the people who were friends with him.
Yeah, and it's like they don't know the exact threat of this person, let's say. So
Yeah.
Emma goes into his mind and helps unlock who he is. And throughout the journey, he gets unlocked and gains access to his powers again. And then there's like a couple of other series drawn by JR, which were pretty fun. It's like where he goes into the negative zone, and in the negative zone, the void personality is dominant.
Yep.
And then there's one where like his psychiatrist finds out the truth about who he is and stuff, including it. So Bendis changes the origin as opposed to in the mini series where they're like the same guy. They are, but Robert Reynolds is actually the composite of two different people, if I remember correctly.
Something like that.
And so that was like, it seems like they were like, let's uncomic booky it, but you end up complicating it a little bit.
But they were also trying to give him reality warping ability.
Yeah, exactly.
By having it be, it was him who did it, not Reed, or like it was through him that Reed and the others did it.
Yeah, exactly. So
now here's something else we gotta remember. He is afraid of himself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Because
but that became a big thing in World War Hulk.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's partly why. So the thing about the Sentry, and the way that Marvel balances it, the way the Sentry works is that whenever he uses his powers and saves people, there will be the void will do great evil. So he has to weigh, should I do it? Because if I do something, the void's gonna come out and hurt people. So
which didn't happen after World War Hulk. That's the weird thing.
Yeah, so then Secret Invasion happens, which Secret Invasion is the Skrulls show up. But the important thing about Secret Invasion is that Norman Osborn becomes the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and creates the Dark Avengers. The Sentry is part of that team. But
why is he part of that team? Because Norman can sweet talk him.
Yeah, Norman essentially manipulated him and basically also said, I have the other parts of the formula that's going to keep you like powered up. So yeah, come and hang out with me.
When in actuality, he was actually working with the Void.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So on that, the other thing is like, so in the
Sentry was Bendis' pet character.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that in Siege. So then what you get is Lindy, Sentry's wife, actually shoots him in the head and kills him. It doesn't work. It just shuts Bob off, and the Void takes over. Much like in the Thunderbolts movie, when they hit the kill switch and the Void takes over.
Yep.
Which I thought they did it pretty well. Hey, what's up, Anthony? So yeah, we discover that. So what Norman does is, since Lindy is what like talks him down, Norman
I killed her.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that way it's easier for Norman to manipulate the Void. So then the Dark Avengers attack Asgard, and Ares shows up and starts fighting the Sentry, and then the Sentry literally
pull the Carnage.
What?
Pull the Carnage maneuver.
And just tears him in half.
But here's the thing, though. As was then clarified in the What If 200 that was about Siege, that severely drained him. You didn't know it because he was so stupid strong, but that drained him. Using that ability to literally kill a god, an actual god, would drain the Sentry.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, to tear someone like that in half. Yeah, I would think so.
Because yeah, in the What If, it is what if he killed Ares the day before, which allowed him then to be completely up to full strength when Siege happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I liked.
Yeah, I definitely like that as well. So then what happens is the Avengers get like powered up by the Norden stones, and Loki dies. This is when Loki dies and will later come back as female Loki.
No, he already did the female Loki. This is when he'll come back as Kid Loki.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But this is the Loki we've been following since Journey into Mystery, the one who formed the Avengers. He's dead. This is that death of that Loki. Any Loki we've seen afterwards is his reincarnation, but they've never gone back.
Yeah, exactly.
They have never gone back. He may retain the memories, but he's never gone back to being this Loki.
Yeah, so then the Void takes complete over, and then
but Robert is saying, kill me.
Yeah, so Thor does kill him, and they throw his body in the sun, and then he was gone for like a significant time period. Then they brought him back in another series
because Jeff Lemire wanted to do it, but he wanted complete creative control on the book.
Yeah, I haven't read that part of the omnibus first, but I heard it goes crazy.
It does.
And then this is the other Sentry series that I have read. We got to mention about his other death. Oh yeah.
All right. Then gives him the Carnage treatment in King in Black.
Yeah, exactly. It takes him out like that. Yeah, exactly.
Because that was done because Jeff Lemire was done with his books. They were like, okay, let's just kill him again. But it makes sense. Noel would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he's the only person that died during the main character that died during King in Black.
Yeah, exactly. So then what you get is he's dead at this point. And so Marvel all new, all different did the Sentry. Robert, do you want to explain?
Okay. The initial idea, I get it. It's trying to be like the reign of the Supermen.
Yeah, with 4 Supermen. What happens is that 4 people get like a version of the Sentry's powers.
That's a good idea.
That's a really great idea.
In execution, it's the Diversity Brigade.
Yeah, because the one that wins it is the person in the wheelchair, and of course the straight white male is the one that's the villain. And I'm like, oh wow.
Of course.
Oh wow, but
they never did anything.
Yeah, exactly. They never really did anything. So it's like
no one utilized it. Just like I'm positive it's going to happen with this new female surfer. No one's going to do it, and they're going to bring Norin Rand back.
Yeah, chances are, yeah, because for those that don't know, it was relatively recently announced that Paul Jenkins is doing a Sentry miniseries, and apparently it's going to be in continuity. So my question is, what's going to happen to Solaris?
Of the 3 out of the 4 issue solicitations, they have never mentioned her yet.
So from what it seems to me, if that holds true, it looks like they're just going to ignore that character.
Maybe. It's hard to say, because how can you do it given how her powers are there? Or his powers are with her?
It could be they'll just like treat it like that. That was like an Elseworld or something like that. But
or a footnote. It'll just be a footnote.
Yeah, just say.
Knowing Jenkins, he'll probably make some reference.
Yeah, probably. I would imagine so.
Because he's one of those guys who would.
Yeah, he's not like a petty creator that would just completely ignore it. But if Marvel tells him pretend that didn't happen.
Oh yeah, then he will.
Because here's the thing, though. Here's why they're doing that series and why they even did the omnibus.
Thunderbolts.
The movie, exactly. It's another example of the MCU synergy, because people say they hate synergy. This is how we got Frank, Jen, and the Sentry back.
Now, granted, unfortunately, they just literally announced right before we started, we're gonna have Wonder Man changed.
But the thing is he gonna be replacing the actual Simon?
I think so. Or he's gonna go through a transformation.
She's gonna become black. Yeah, that's not gonna blow up in their faces.
When has that stopped Marvel before?
Yeah, I know, but that's gonna go about as well as Miles Morales as Thor did.
Well, at least that was a what if.
Yeah, but still. But the point is, it's one of the occasions where all new, all different stuff has been was undone by synergy with the movie. So that's why I'm like, okay. And then Anthony wants to know that the Sentry at his full power, can he beat the Beyonder or any of the Eternals? I would say yes. Beyonder, not necessarily. Eternals, yes. Because people forget how powerful the Sentry is. And by Anthony says, Jared, I see why you asked a question, but I think Hyperion is more interesting analog for Superman and Marvel. The thing about Hyperion is that he's literally Superman. It's like there's not like that much that makes him.
He's not. Sentry is a Marvelized Superman. Hyperion is the copyright safe Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
That they can make villainous if they want to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the big difference here.
Yeah, exactly.
The Sentry has everything in him, like his all being afraid of how his powers work and about using his powers, that make him more or less like a Marvel character.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not so that's why I think the Sentry's more interesting than Hyperion, because Hyperion again is just a ripoff, is literally a ripoff Superman. Like it's not even like the debate.
Oh, and the answer: can he beat the Beyonder? No.
Yeah, Beyonder, no. Eternals, I would say
the
so.
Void, maybe, if he's just cut loose with the Void, maybe. Because here's the thing. Beyonder, we already know, is equal to Worldbreaker Hulk.
Yeah.
And they basically pounded each other into a stalemate.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and now, was that his peak? I'd say so.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
I say that was Robert at his peak. And I bet you the reason why the Void didn't do anything was he was so exhausted the Void couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to bet that's what happened? It was so exhausted, not even the Void could take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's my only justification.
Yeah, exactly. Or that was after the period where Robert, because what happened during during one of the Void series is that Sentry threw the Void into the sun because they had been separated. The Void still returns, so it could be it was during that time period when the Void was gone.
But he was still being so nervous about losing himself still.
Well, again, because it's like if I do this, it'll accelerate when the Void will come back.
That's true.
The point is that there's any number of ways you could explain why the Sentry was nervous, but it's like the thing is about this character. The other part that I really like about it is that again, it's like if Superman and Zod were the same person.
Yep, like I said, this is a very much what a Marvelized Superman would be if you're not trying. Now, I mean, I'm trying to find a way of saying this is what a Marvelized Superman would be when you're not trying to make him the big gun of the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the other thing is they didn't want him to be a story breaker.
Yeah, because the Sentry could easily be like, because the problem with Marvel, why there could never be a straight Marvel Superman that is like the face of the line is because what threats
they're not a world of gods. They're not a world of gods.
They may have Thor, but this is exactly. So it's like you have to give him that, and doing the DID stuff that actually really makes it very interesting.
It does.
And then, do you think Robert with the Void can beat the Celestials?
No. Given how Null, who could fight Celestials, ripped him in half easily, and Bob couldn't at all. I think not.
And now let me ask you this, Robert. Do you think that the Sentry powered up by the Void could beat All-Father Thor?
No.
I agree.
I do not think so. Again, I really do not think so. Now, the Void cutting loose, taking over, and being at full power could, because that's what happened in that Siege 200. He just took over.
Yeah, exactly. And then NJ says, how about Blue Marvel and Gladiator? They are very similar to Superman too. Yeah.
But even them, we've never seen them be. Here's the thing. Gladiator is Mon-El, not Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to remember that. He is Mon-El. Because those people were Claremont's nod to the Legion. But when it comes to Blue Marvel, we've never seen what his peak was.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's super. He might be like Superman, but they've never shown him do feats that are equivalent to Superman.
Yeah, exactly. So it's different than like someone saying, "Oh, this is basically Marvel Superman," and I go, "It's not."
Even Hyperion has never reached feats of Superman as we know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because even when you had him, they never really treated him like pre-crisis Superman or anything. They just treat him as just as close to Superman without breaking him.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like in terms of like the problem that like Marvel's I think approach with the Sentry is that to a certain degree he is ridiculously powerful, and it's like how do you do that? By the way, Anthony says, question, we're talking about Superman the Sentry. Can Superman full power beat a Thor that has gone through both King God Thor and Ruined King Thor? No. I don't think Superman could beat Thor that powered up.
I still think he could.
Okay.
If we're going by post death metal.
Post death metal.
As in everything's canon.
But again, that's not been done. That's been undone by new history.
That's true, but we got to still remember one of its greatest feats, dealing with the World Forger.
Okay, that's true.
I'm sorry. That Death Battle put it best. That feat blows so much out of the water.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You know what I mean? Even Thor has never been able to pull off a feat like that.
Yeah, and Thor is like a ridiculously powerful character.
Oh yeah, he was able to take out Galactus.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you got to remember that feat alone kind of really trumps it. Scott Snyder just gave us a feat that is very hard to ignore.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like when it comes to like this character, it's like. So let me ask you this, Robert. Which of the series and comics of the Sentry do you enjoy the most?
I say Bendis is. Because at least he had a character growth.
Yeah, it's like I like the original series, don't get me wrong, but it was really cool seeing like the decline of this hero and to see Norman Osborn's ability to
It was a tragedy.
Yeah, it really is. Because he started
Poor Bob had no control from the beginning.
I also love there was a couple of comics where they're taking place during Civil War, and then Tony comes to see him, and then Sentry's like, "Do you really? Are we going to start killing Captain America now? Is that where we're going?"
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, I would say my best favorite actually would have to be his appearance in World War Hulk.
Yeah. Anthony says, were there any stories that wrote the Sentry where he fought those versions of Thor to a stalemate?
No,
I don't think so. No. I'm like the only version of
where they both had to give up. Wait, where they both? No, that specific story especially never happened.
Yeah, exactly. The only Thor that he ever fought was like, I hesitate to say regular Thor, but it was before he got like a ridiculous power.
Yeah, because by that point Bob was dead. Bob's been dead most of the time, or avoiding Thor for most of that time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, we talked about that, but you just came in, so it's all good. But yeah,
like I said, Null. Remember, Bob going after Null, he was fully powered. He was really like, let's go! And he's like trying to rip him, can't do it, then he gets ripped in half. I think that speaks volume. This was a Bob who was going in gung-ho, fully fresh, and couldn't make a dent in Null.
Yeah, and then he got torn apart, and then the Void was actually absorbed by Null.
Now, when Null said, I am the Void, that I still question, like, what did he mean by that?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just saying, you got to remember that. Null pulling that stunt. And remember, Null is trouncing Thor.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I get that.
And that was Odin's force Thor.
Yeah, that was 100. He even stabbed Thor through the chest.
And remember, it took the Captain Universe allowing Venom to then take Mjolnir and Sulfur's board and form him into a giant axe that's defeat him.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. So are those new Sentry ever coming back, says Tevia? We don't know.
We don't know. Probably, and again, we got to wait until the post.
Here's the thing. There's only one new, because at the end of that series, like Mallory is the only like Solaris Sentry still active.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony asked, "Do you think that's why they had to bring in a Robert so depowered, because the actual one in the comics wouldn't work?" Oh, you mean a live action? Oh yeah.
Well, that's why they went closer to his MK self.
Yeah, exactly. Because they were going off of that one as well, and you notice they didn't. They could have easily done the whole, oh yeah, his memory. Everyone wiped everyone's memory of the Sentry or something like that. But
instead he was already shut up before he became a problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like he just became the character because Project Sentry is trying to create a super soldier.
But I still love that fight where basically showed Superman versus
Yeah, the Avengers were like, he kicks all their asses, and I'm like, yeah, this is real. So when people say Marvel versus DC, this is what would realistically happen.
Of course, it'd have to be a Superman who wouldn't be trying to talk him down.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, which one they went with the Thunderbolts? The Paul Jenkins one, the Marvel Knights one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more like that they had to do that because it's like, because essentially if they went with the full power one, there would be no stakes.
Exactly.
It's like you would expect the Sentry to be able to beat literally every single person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all in all, I really like the Sentry as a character. I think it's one of the occasions where they clearly like are homaging Superman, but they do it in a way that's like wholly unique.
Or I take it back. Bob didn't even try to attack the Null. He was just pulling him up into space, and before he even had a moment to do anything, that's when Null attacked.
Oh yeah, because Null went, oh, you killed one of my acolytes.
Yep, and then he ripped him in half easily. But yeah, so we never saw Bob try to do it. He was just pulling him up into space before he did anything. So who could say, but probably because Null ripped him off so easily and Bob couldn't break it out, still says a lot.
All right, Tevia says, I sure hope Paul Jenkins got paid for his work with Thunderbolts. I don't
know. No. I bet you want to bet he was given the mini as a compensation.
Yep, this is Marvel we're talking about. Yeah, exactly. But Robert and Jared. Hey, what's up, Jay? The link is in the Comics League chat, so you can join. Robert and Jared. No matter who
Clark.
the fighter is, who do you think wins a fight? Clark versus Robert. Clark
won. It's similar to Zatanna versus Scarlet Witch. The instability is a detriment.
Yeah, and Superman
makes them perfectly reasonable and easier to make them grounded in the on the Marvel side. But it can be detriment when you go after the real deal.
And Superman has fought equivalent beings before.
Yeah, not just Kryptonians, but even higher beings.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, let me put it this way: if you could beat Darkseid, I'm fairly certain you can beat the Void. Or
you could defeat the World Forger.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's the way I normally do these. If these characters would beat these characters, if they've beaten the equivalent, yes.
Yep, and like I said, it's the instability would be that way too.
Yeah.
Now, not saying that you can't have a moment where Bob. There can be a point for a brief time during the fight where Bob is completely like, "Let's do this," but eventually, as it goes on, he'll start to doubt himself and be like, "Is it still going? Oh crap!"
And then the Void at some point will take over.
But then the Superman can stop him.
Why do you think Marvel is so afraid to do an overpowered characters? Because that's not what they do.
That's not again. They would have to put limitations on Thor, and by having he's always holding back when he's on Midgard.
Yeah, Marvel has never done the because here's the thing. DC historically is the god-like characters. Marvel is more of the grounded men-like characters.
And again, like I said, with Thor himself puts blockers on himself, which You know, it's also one of my favorite moments that Donnie Cates had Thor say that I still love. You want to know why Thor's always happy to see his friends when he shows up again?
What?
Because it turns out between visits, because of him being so ancient, he's so quick to lose track of time that he's always afraid that hundreds of years will have passed by the time he's returned. And that, but he's always like, "Oh, good, you're still here! Hey!" I'm like, I love that.
That makes a lot of sense. Tevia says, honestly, speaking of Sentry, reminds me, what happened to the Sentry family? Because you've seen those characters in a very long time. The psychic Sentry. I have no idea.
No idea.
Here's the thing. I think that the dog is the only one that I remember. And isn't it like the Sentry tore the arm off of his sidekick or something like that?
I have no clue.
And then we're talking about base Superman, right? Could World Forger one he was amped up massively by an outside source?
He was not. He wasn't amped up by an outside source.
No, exactly. Oh, I think NJ is also asking, was Superman amped up?
No.
Yeah, no, it was.
Well, no. He had to fly through a bunch of suns, but that's still him. That's his base form doing that feat.
Yeah. So that's the thing there.
That's something that he could have done. He could still do at any point. Fly through a bunch of suns.
So, because we all know Superman has a history of flying through a bunch of rings.
Oh.
I had to. Do you guys think Marvel, the Rise, is not that they're afraid of doing it? The continuity is more geared. That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're saying. They don't want that. That's why, again, when you have Thor, when he's down below, he's nerfing himself. Does that even if that means him having to get killed? Because he knows he can kill people too easily if he cuts loose.
Oh, yeah, because, again, that's why it's a surprise when people find out how powerful Thor is. It's like, oh, really?
Yep. Although at the same time, but that also tells you how powerful someone like Ultron is when it's clear he is cutting loose there.
Yeah, exactly. NJ says still was amped up because if he didn't go do that, he would have zero. Well, here's the thing. Robert, explain.
NJ, if it's unless it's from an amped up from an outside source, it's like his feat is feasible because it's something that he can do on his own. He can still fly up and go through a bunch of suns on his own.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying, Jared? Right? It's like what NJ, what you're describing would be if someone gave him their power to amp him up.
Apollo blasted him with sunlight.
Exactly. If that happened, then you'd have a point. Or sharing their power with them, like magic enhanced or something. You'd have a point. Like the metal armor they wore at the end of Dark Knight Metal.
Yeah,
that was an external source. Him going through the sun.
Yo, Jay here.
Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight?
Going good.
About the Sentry. Your thoughts on the character, Jay?
I mean, he's a good character. I mean, yeah, out of all the Superman knockoffs, he's one of the most unique. Like, you could, because with this archetype, you could easily fall into the trap of making him overpowered. That's why you only really use the Sentry unless you absolutely have to. And I feel like modern writers nowadays, at least from what little I've seen in Marvel, because I fell off years ago, but I'm not saying Sentry can't carry a series, but you have to be very careful when using him.
Right. Can I quickly answer NJ's one statement?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. No, remember, those were suns that were meant to replace. So those weren't just magically enhanced suns. Those were normal suns that existed in the sixth dimension to replace the main, the third dimension.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that those were not special suns.
Yeah, exactly. So what Jay is describing is that he encountered a secret empire. I'm sorry, Jay. I have to. But,
should we clarify Jay Heat, the new standing of Bendis?
Yeah. So the thing that we're gonna do is with the Bendis name. If we're talking about his Marvel work, we'll allow it. DC, he must not be named.
Or BMB.
So just want to clarify that. But in terms of like in terms of like the other appearance, yeah, because Jay brings up a good point. It's like, yeah, in this universe, as Anthony has asked, there's a reason why they barely make Hulk like let loose as well, because like if these characters, if they really let all the God characters off the leash, it would look just like DC Comics.
Yep.
Am I right?
You're
correct.
But yeah, so Jay Heat. So how much of the Sentry's like appearances have you read?
Definitely a few. My main ones would mostly be about his appearance in Planet Hulk, one miniseries he did in the early 2010s. I mostly read Sentry on ensemble roles. I usually haven't seen his main books that much because I know it's how easy of a trap it is to fall into. Not saying he can't carry a title. Let me make that very clear. Not that he can't carry a title, but it's difficult to write Sentry in a grounded way unless you're just retreading the
Void.
The Dr. Heckle and Mr. Hyde aspect of the Void. Unless you're actually going out of your way to retread that, it's really hard to make the Sentry grounded.
He has a point there. He does have a point there. Sentry's not someone that I believe could ever. That it's still the one downside of the character, even with his whole personality disorder and everything. You're never going to get an ongoing.
Yeah, it's like,
you can't. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, because that gets old real quick. It's like, oh man.
Or you have people too tempted to just have him cut loose.
Yeah.
Because the thing, do you cure him? Do you cure him of everything?
And if you cure him of everything, he's just Superman.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, here's the thing: if you cure him, the only difference between him and Hyperion is the costume. Then.
Oh, and being more of a good guy.
It depends on the version of Hyperion.
True. Most people do handle Hyperion as more villainous.
Which is stupid, but regardless, it's like, yeah, but it's like you lose all the uniqueness if you, it's like so many writers either don't want to do it or would forget that the more he uses powers, the likelihood the Void is going to take over.
I think that's the other downside of his own inception, is because he's their Superman, because his origin was done the way it was. Again, there's only finite stories you can tell.
Yeah, it's like before you start retreading the same stories, because if they do it and it's like, because if they do a story and it's like, oh look, the Sentry's being manipulated by a supervillain. When has that happened before?
Yeah, so yeah, Sentry is a miniseries only character. He could still exist. I'm not saying you keep taking him off the board every time.
Or hey, put him on the Avengers.
Now here, the other thing is though,
ensembles are tricky. Because I would argue the DCAU had a similar. I know it's a separate medium, but let me cook. Had a similar problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, but if you remember, a lot of his character development was in the New Avengers.
That is true. He's very much a novel character.
But you know, though, he rarely actually did anything in those books as Sentry. It was mostly as Robert.
Or the Void.
That's the other downside. Even there, yes, he was on the team book, but that's because you had everyone else who can carry the page count while he would have a page here and there. It was good stuff, but overall,
it's like you would need a writer that really, really, really has like the best pitch ever.
There's only been 3 writers who've known what to do with him: Bendis, Jenkins, and Lemire.
Which, at least Jenkins is doing the new series, so that's a big plus for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so we'll see. It's just Jerry Rogers specific. Is there a way they can have him be overpowered while still having interesting stories without having a miniseries? No, you can't. Obviously, if there was a writer that has a great pitch, that's one thing. But it's like so few people want to write the character or understand the character.
Exactly.
That's the thing when people talk about, like, even with the old, I'm going to burn this up, Robert, to discrimination comics thing, where people talk about the fact that, like, DC Next Level does not feature a lot of like black characters, and I'm like,
you can't force it.
If DC Next Level is based on creators' choice, so if no creators are pitching it, what do you expect?
Exactly.
But it's like with this, it's like if the writer, because here's the thing with the Sentry. I didn't. Here's how easy it is for that character to fall into the cracks. I thought he was dead from. I thought I didn't remember the character existed from Siege all the way until King in Black. That was my reminder that the Sentry was a thing.
Well, to be fair, he was dead for most of it. It was just for a short miniseries right before King in Black where he was back.
And then I thought he was dead from there to the really bad Solaris series.
He was dead between those.
No, I mean, I forgot he was a character.
Oh, okay.
I will say this though, to Anthony's comment,
and actually, Robert, he wasn't dead. That's where the Lamar series, at least, is in the omnibus.
But I'm saying no. Release-wise, Lamar's series was before King in Black, and that's why when Lamar was done, they killed him off because he wasn't needed anymore.
I see. Which one, Sentry?
Sentry's the type of character you get approval of when you're back for a big event comic and you're backed into a corner.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but I will say this, Anthony Mazzo, yes, Sentry does have potential, but it's not the fact you couldn't pull off him being the focal point of a main character or an ongoing. It's the execution. And only a very select B to A tier group of writers have shown consistent craft and quality to pull that off.
And the other thing is, most of those stories don't have much to do with his superheroics. It has to do with his mental issues.
Yeah, yes. In other words, a lot of Marvel writers just treat him like he's a supervillain.
Or just a broken human being.
And the occasional mental health / substance abuse allegory. I'm trying to keep this PG.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The drug abuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what we forgot about.
He's not as stigmatized for it as Roy Harper / Arsenal is, but it's
yeah.
So the fake origin of the Sentry was, he stumbled into a lab and saw the professor's secret formula. Actually, what happened is that he was a drug addict.
Mm-hmm. And he shot himself up.
Yeah. Anthony says, Robert J. and Jared, do you think a guy like Frank Miller or Al Ewing could do
prime Frank Miller could pull off Sentry in his prime?
Mm-hmm. I don't think he has any interest. He'd have any interest even now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, you don't have to say our names each time.
yeah, exactly. Just type it. Weren't Marvel's Moon Knight an allegory for alcoholism and mental abuse?
To an extent.
No.
I would argue more so, Tony.
Okay, I just realized there's one thing that should have been done.
Okay.
Sentry Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Those two are begging for it. And the most we ever got was during Red Hulk when Jeff Loeb had to be the two at a nice brief moment. And that was very much written like Superman, Batman. And even the boy was like, still seeing the same therapist? Yep, you sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Marvel would never do it because it's too much of a world's finest ripoff. Or at the very least, it's...
That'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome, but you'd be openly admitting you're ripping off a world's finest title.
So what? Embrace it.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly. It's like, why not just do it? It's like, you're already dealing with the Marvel version of Superman and Batman. Just do it.
Because let's be honest, Moon Knight is their closest Batman equivalent.
Yeah, it's even a rich guy that has a Batcave. Yeah, he's Batman.
And again, both he and Bob have mental issues, have personality issues.
Yeah, it's like can you imagine the types of stories you could tell with that?
Now, hold on, I got to find those. I got to find the scans.
Yeah, if Sentry fought Predator, who would win?
Duh. Okay, well, to be fair, the Predators did take out Thor.
But is that Predator that has the contingency plans of Kraven?
No, that's a good point.
Because if they don't have it, that's going to be a stomping in favor of Bob. That's who's going to win, Superman or a Predator?
Well, we already know the only reason why that played out the way it did was because Superman got an illness.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, I'm looking that up because I got to show you guys that moment. It is such a good moment.
Yeah, because there was so much you could do with that one particularly if you went with the... as far as I know, they've never really interacted, Sentry and Moon Knight.
right? Except for that bit, and that was during okay, I found it. Let me just join up onto the
Yeah.
on my computer. But
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just joining in backstage. You do not need to add me on. I'm just joining in backstage so I then connect to the scans.
Oh, so you're saying I could have a clone of Robert?
Don't add me.
A clone to tell me in stereo why Lois sucks. I'm only kidding.
Hold on, let me find it because again, this is the closest we ever got to it.
Do you want me to just remove this one and bring you on camera?
No, I'd rather not. Because I'm just going to show it quickly. All right.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Here it is. It's just one brief moment where, and again, they were in this arc the whole time, but this is the one brief moment. And again, this is Jeff Loeb writing it. Still in therapy, Bob? Yes. What about you, Mark? It is Mark I'm speaking with, right? Yeah, it's Mark. Yeah, it's Mark. For now, I try and see the shrink when I can. Still with the same guy as me? Not unless you change therapists. We should get together sometime. Talk about the all day. Sure. Like never. Okay. 2 panels I wanted to see more of.
Yeah, I know. It's like that's a team up series I didn't know I needed.
Exactly. Like I said, just those 2 panels, and you're just like, there's so much left unwritten.
Yeah, it's like, are you there's so much DC mocking that they could do with that.
And again, the fact that now granted, that would require
a funny idea. That series written by Mark Waid.
Or Jeff Loeb.
No, it would be hilarious if it was Mark Waid, so he's doing both world's finest.
Oh yeah. But now granted, that would involve having to make Moon Knight be a bit more Batman-like. That's the one downside.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, he's become faux distance from Batman, being Batman. He's rarely ever been that Batman-like. That's the one downside. You'd have to write him like he's more like Batman for this to work.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But no, but it's like not necessarily. Just have it where like it's the Batman, Superman of Marvel, but just have them team up.
Or although it'd be just simply he's gone to that personality that's a bit more like that.
Yeah. Cameron asked, was Moon Knight always Batman-like? Pretty much.
Pretty much, but again, with mental disorders.
Yeah, it's basically mental Batman. That's who it is.
Basically, imagine Batman and Deadpool in one, just without the fourth wall breaking.
Or the comedy.
Well, the comedy part was obvious, but I appreciate the banter, Robert.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so all in all, I really love the Sentry. I think he's one of those characters that Marvel, I get why they don't. If all we get is many series of him, fine, because he's a character that I think deserves to get more attention. It's just you have to be very careful with how you use him.
Exactly. We can all agree to that.
Like, I could see him. He works good on an Avengers roster. Like, if the next Avengers after McKay has him on the team, then I think they could do some fun stuff with him. But then you'd have to remember about all the other stuff with Bob. But at least he wouldn't be the focus.
Exactly. Again, depending on how they and what they're going to do in the Sentry book. But I do think overall, like I would say that's probably one of the few ongoings I could see is a Sentry Moon Knight. That I could see as an ongoing because you'd have Moon Knight there to ground him.
And Moon Knight is actually doing pretty well with his series, so you could do that.
Yeah. J.E., do you agree with that idea at least? That's one way to keep doing ongoing is to keep him grounded?
Yeah, I definitely agree to that.
Here's what you do. You know how like each of them, here's the way you could do an ongoing, but not do an ongoing. What I mean by that, remember in the Sentry mini series where like it was like each of the issues were like the different like him teaming up with each of the different heroes. You could do that and just pick a hero of the month and just say he teams up with Carol, he teams up with Tony, he teams up
kind of like after Damian got killed off and you have Batman and insert character.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's the way you could use, because you could do like him and Wolverine, him and Hulk, pick all the big characters and then have him do it. That way you get some exposure on the character. And if that inevitably works and Paul Jenkins wants to write him, you can do an ongoing. Or
Or-
Bendis can. He's at Marvel now.
Yep. Or hey, seems like Slot is actually not at under an exclusive contract. No, wait, yeah, I give him a crack.
Oh yeah, he's doing Spider-Man now. A Spider-Man book.
Yep, again, to make clear, he's clearly not under contract anywhere, so he wants to work at both.
NJ says Moon Knight and Tigra are the Batcat that actually works. Yeah, honestly, that's a good point. They really are the Batcat of Marvel.
Except Tigra's more paired up with Hank Pym more these days.
Not anymore.
What happened?
Jen McKay, man.
Oh.
She in Jen McKay ever since the beginning of Jen McKay's run, she's been in a relationship with Spectre.
With Spectre. Mark Spectre. Mark
Yeah,
Spectre.
exactly. Anthony asked, "I'm surprised they never did an ultimate version of Robert in the comics, either in the one that just ending or the old." There's so many ways that could go wrong if they try to do an ultimate Sentry. But there's so many ways that could go wrong. I'm just like, it's better off if they just do it if they don't do it. Honestly, it's one of those occasions where just don't.
Yeah, better you don't. And yeah, it's safer. It's much safer.
Yeah, anyway, but I think that's a good place to leave it. So this was a fun discussion about the Sentry, and then tomorrow CLD. Obviously, we have a lot of announcements we got to talk about. And then and then in terms of Athena, by the way, I'm going to be meeting with my publisher to go over details about fulfilling the campaign. That's going to happen. And then in terms of movie night, we're talking about the original Red Sonja movie. In terms of comics, in terms of Super Wonder Legacy, Britt and I are going to be talking about Calvin Ellis, Valzad, Nubia, and all those characters. For Amazon Answers, I'm going to be discussing all my favorite Wonder Woman looks, like all of her armor and costumes and stuff. And then that's what I got. Robert, how about you, my man?
Links down below. I'm going to try and get back into doing some more gaming eventually.
And then Jay Heat, how about you, my brother?
Actually, you can find me at Jheat Blaze or Jheat75, where I'm currently doing a live stream on Gotham Knights. Just wanted to hop on and holler at everybody after being busy at work for a week and a half. And also be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for CLD tomorrow night, where we would talk about all the Comics Pro announcements. We're saving that. And due to the great success of you guys supporting the What If Damien Was the Son of the Demon video, expect a follow-up alongside myself, Robert, and Pika Shades. And
two PTNs with you and me this coming week.
And yes, Pros versus News as well. That's also being released. As well as What If Batman and Robin 2023 was rushed. So a lot of videos coming out within the next week. So I appreciate you all your continued support.
Hell yeah. So be sure to support all these fine gentlemen. All their links will be in the description below, including mine. And we will see you guys later in that note. So I got to come up with a Marvel version of Lois Lane as Lois Lane. I don't know.
Wait a minute. What was Robert's wife's name?
No, but I like Lindy. I like Lindy Lee. No, come on. I like Lindy. I'm not gonna bash her. She's the tolerable version of Lois. I'll tell you what. Here's my thing. Paul sucks.